What if we added checkers to chess? Would checkers break chess? Well, it sure did break me. I thought I was just adding a new piece. Just a fun little thought experiment. But this, the thing has plans. Evil plans. This checkers piece broke everything. It did everything in its power to make my life miserable, all while looking at me with its sneaky little face. Almost like it's laughing at me. You see, I'm trying to build a chess website made from anarchy chess ideas. So why did a silly little chess piece almost made me straight up give up? To answer that, we have to go back a little bit. So I was looking at our board so far and wondered what piece would be best to fill this empty square with. We already have the anti-queen, the nook, the traitor rook, this pawn which YouTube hates when I say its name, but this piece was just begging for something stupidly dumb. That's when I stumbled on this post. New piece idea, I call it the checker. It seemed like a perfect fit, a unique idea that doesn't exist in any other game. Actually, side note, I had an idea for a brand new game. What if we took this checker piece and use it exclusively on its own board? Maybe we could call it like checkers or something, you know, after the piece. Maybe this will be our next project. As I started figuring out how this checker piece would actually work in chess 2, a lot of tricky questions came up. First, it's a back rank piece, so it needs to be able to get out quickly. Nice jump over pawns. Bishops can usually be freed once you move your center pawns, because they're already near the center of the board. This piece needs the same freedom, which is why I made it able to jump over friendly pieces without capturing. Then there were forced captures. In checkers, not that that's a real game, to be clear, you have to capture if you can, or one player could just do nothing and the game would end in a draw. But in chess, other pieces can create enough problems for your opponent on their own. And because you can hop over your own pieces, being forced to take an arbitrary path just to capture a piece feels clunky and awkward. So instead, players can choose to jump freely, not bound to an arbitrary forced capture. Promotions was another tricky part, because I feel like promoting to any piece will be a little overpowered, considering this piece is more powerful than a pawn, and not promoting at all will be boring. In checkers, once again, not a real game. When your piece gets to the end of the board, it becomes a king, basically like a queen in chess. So I thought, why not here too? The chess promote to a king, giving you an extra life. There was a small issue with this, because promoting to a king in the endgame is kinda useless. I made it so that checkers can move 2 squares diagonal when not hopping, so promotion in the middle game is more likely. Strong enough to matter, but not enough to win the game. Okay, now that we know how the checker is supposed to behave on paper, the next challenge was actually making it happen. Coding the checker's rules was surprisingly simple. By the way, this might actually be the first time I have ever found a real world use for recursion. But the real annoying thing was the website animation for this piece. I mean, I just needed the checker to hop through a few squares before landing, which sounds simple, until you remember this was supposed to be a chess website where pieces move in a straight line. Let's just say my animation system was about as ready for this as I am ready to jump out of a plane without a parachute, eager to self-destruct. It was definitely a journey to get this working, and you know, it only required me to completely rewrite the animation system. Once that was working, I thought I was done, and then I hit the wall that nearly broke me. Up until now, I just showed the player every square the checker could end up on, and just let them click where they wanted to go. This was perfectly fine if there is only one path to the square. But what if there are multiple ways to reach the same destination? Loops, branching jumps, suddenly this piece becomes a nightmare. At this point, I kinda just want to give up. Especially because looking at the checker's smirky face even for one more second made me want to punch the screen. It's almost like it's laughing at my pain. But internally, even if I didn't want to admit it, I knew exactly what needed to happen. The player had to choose each hop individually, but I really didn't want to do that, because it sounded so complicated. But unfortunately there is no other good solution, so I kept in, and it actually worked pretty well. The player clicks a square and the game shows all possible next hops from there. Each click adds to the path, and the system keeps narrowing down the options until only one move is left, basically a tree. And that's how the checker finally came to life, just tormenting me at every turn. I think you can all see how I'm more of a backend developer than a frontend one. But the checker is not all I did this month. There is a new special move I've been working on, something that just adds a little more crowd to the game. We will get to this in a bit, but before that I want to give the player a reason to actually sit down and play on this website. That's when I came up with the idea of daily quests. Think of it a bit like Wordle, a small challenge every day. Complete a quest and you get points, which you can show off in this leaderboard. And if you keep going day after day, you build a streak. At first I kept it simple, you would just get a random quest with a random difficulty. Don't like the quest you got, you could replace it once. Complete a quest and you will earn quest points, more points for harder quests. This worked, but it quickly started to feel a bit unfair. Imagine getting a quest you didn't like, replacing it and ending up with something way harder or way too easy. So I had to get creative, and came up with this. Basically, the quest difficulty is not random, the quests just get more and more difficult towards the end of the week. And because I couldn't resist, I came up with silly names for each one of the days, which is really stupid, let's be honest, but I like it, sue me. These are the quests I implemented so far, and if you have any ideas for any other quests, please leave them in the comments, because I am running dry of ideas. So then, I wanted to finally implement one of the most famous rules in anarchy chess, the Il Vaticano. Basically, if you've got two bishops with exactly 2 squares between them, and those 2 squares are filled with enemy pieces, the bishops can just swap positions and take both pieces. Every move in chess has a sun notation, which is basically a human readable way of writing moves down. The sun notation for castling is OO, so naturally, a casting like moves between 2 bishops would be BOOB. No, it doesn't spell anything out. Don't worry about it. On a personal note, every piece you see on the board is hand-drawn by my mom and then vectorized by me. Except the new checker piece, because let's just say we couldn't get it quite right in the original drawing, so I just made it myself in Inkscape. But on the bright side, I finally found all the original scans of the drawings from other pieces from like 2 years ago. Chess2, the most silly chess website, is very much nearing release, but trust me, in the nearing devlogs it's going to get so much worse, it actually flips the dial around and makes the game even better. So subscribe if you want to see that. No pressure of course. See you next time.